another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. It's a little bag. So I got on Facebook for like 5 seconds, and a friend of ours, she the other day she showed some frustration with having moved up here and having a really hard time. She got dumped, and within weeks of moving here, she can't go anywhere because her plates are expired and out of state. And work issues and stuff like that. Well, when we moved up here, I mean, I see everybody, like, hey, it's okay, don't worry about it, that kind of thing. When we moved up here, we wound up renting a room from somebody. We were originally going to move to Grafton, but we took one look at that camper that we bought and was like, I don't think so. And so we wound up renting a room from a couple in Keene. And I have nothing against the female side of that couple. The male side I have serious problems with, and we've had problems with them here on YouTube, and we've had to report them to the police. We shouldn't have to report other free staters to the police. It's the only thing he seems to understand. She, the female half of that couple, had to go to the police. She moved out of state to get away from us, for her safety. He's violent. He has bipolar disorder, and his mood swings are frequent and severe. So we wound up going to a shelter, and he claims we were kicked out of the house. Well, I'd like to know who kicked us out, because nobody kicked us out. As soon as a bed in the shelter opened up, we vanished. We disappeared. Nobody told us to leave. He can say everything he wants to say, and sadly there are far too many people that listen to him. And anyway, so we were in the shelter, and we didn't have a note from the doctor yet, so at night he had to stay in the car. Once we got a note from the doctor, he could stay in the shelter. Anyway, so the meter maid called the Keene police. Oh, there's a dog in the car, da 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 da. And I thought we were going to have to do something like give him to the shelter, to the animal shelter. Now I was like, everything that has happened over the last 3 years. Not everything, because some things have been very good, like meeting Carolyn and moving up here. I'd be willing to live on the moon with Carolyn. And the frustration on her side is she can't find jobs, she can't find work. And anyway, so yeah, I got ticked off, and I called, I think it was Port 411. And I just went off on everybody, and I apologized for that, and I'm not going to keep apologizing for it because I've already apologized. That individual that we were renting a room from really screwed us over, to say the least. Does that mean that I did everything right? No. I mean, there are other videos on here about that. I don't need to go into all of it. But, so, but I see, yeah, I went a bit overboard with I was angry, and maybe I should not have taken it out on everybody the way I did. But I called Pork 411 and apologized. And I've apologized on here, and I've apologized on Facebook. Well, Lucky has his weasel. It makes noises. Not everybody's our friend over there on Facebook. Everybody's like, don't worry about it, we understand. And nobody was like that with us, even after I apologized. There's some great folks up here, both in the movement and outside of it. And this is a great place to live. I wish people would be more understanding of our situation. We both moved from basically all we ever knew. Carolyn moved from Illinois, I moved from Texas. I lived in Texas for 39 very long years. Before that, I lived overseas. We both left everything. I had a fire 3 years ago that I lost everything. And then I found out my mother had Alzheimer's. And what I went through with dealing with her was hell on earth. And then I moved into these crappy apartments in San Antonio. And now we have 2 people trying to live on $1,000 a month, and that ain't easy. Not easy at all. There are people in the movement, most people I guess in the movement, don't care for people being on food stamps, housing, SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, Medicare, etc., but I haven't seen anybody offer an alternative to the situation. It's great if you say, well, let's take care of each other, but let's see some details. Let's see some practical application. And I haven't seen any. I've seen a lot of people help out a lot of people, and we've been helped out a lot. But if you want to criticize us for this or that, then provide an alternative. And I haven't seen an alternative provided yet. And the fact that more people don't just kick this guy out of their lives is beyond me. Why people... I mean, some people do see what he is. See him for what he is, who he is, what he is. But sadly, not everybody does. And he wreaked havoc on our lives, to say the least. And people are understanding and forgiving of that person over on Facebook, but not so for me for some reason. Even though I've apologized profusely, and I don't know. I feel like an outcast in this movement.